So it's pretty obvious that I'm a big John Mayer fan. He was the driving force for me picking up the guitar and sticking with it, learning it, evolving with it. And I think a lot of that has to do with how he's evolved as a player and his never-ending search for that vocal-like quality in the guitar. And I think a lot of that has to do with his influences over the however many years he's been playing. But if you look back to probably Room for Squares all the way to probably 2013, his vibrato technique is, at least to me, the thing that's changed the most in his playing. And also his phrasing, but mainly that vibrato technique. So we're going to just make a little short video showing you some of those techniques. So here's the first one. When he uses his first finger to do vibrato, he does a lot of that thumb over the fingerboard or the neck type of approach. And this was mainly pre-2013. Not to say he doesn't do this anymore, but you'll see how it's changed in just a second. So go into a song like Gravity. And I just say that because there's so much vocal quality to the notes he's playing in that song. So starting out with the intro line. Okay, so that's the thumb over approach, and he does that a lot too with when he leads with his middle finger to do maybe a slide into notes. Again, Gravity. So thumb over, and probably around 2013, 2014, we see a new type of vibrato come from John, and that is the approach when you take your whole hand off the neck and you just have that finger that you're going to use for the vibrato on the fingerboard. And I think that has a lot to do with his influence from guys like Clapton and Stevie Ray Vaughan and B.B. King. They've all been known to do this. I would say it's mainly like a Clapton thing. You see Clapton do this a lot, and I think you just get a lot more movement out of the note. I've also noticed that John has a tendency to, or has had a tendency to speed up his vibrato over the years. And I've noticed that more on Last Train Home ballad version and a lot of the more recent performances he's done since Sob Rock has popped onto the scene. So like the intro, I'm not going to play it note for note, but take for example, Last Train Home ballad. So there's that kind of technique right there. And I think that he's really sped up his vibrato. And I think that has a lot to do, again, with his never-ending search for that vocal-like quality to his playing. This has kind of been a mainstay for me in my playing. Not saying that you need to do it, but it's really worked for me. It feels comfortable. Something when you want to keep in mind when you're doing this type of technique. You really want to get almost your whole forearm into it. This is not that typical kind of fulcrum style vibrato that you're used to seeing, but this can work on any string, obviously. It's more comfortable for me when I'm doing it on probably the middle, actually probably the lower four strings. Once I get here, there's just a lot more tension on the string, so kind of need that that thumb as a fulcrum to wiggle the notes. Another thing I've noticed with John's vibrato technique is he doesn't do that type of technique down on the lower register. And I think, well, John's always talked about the tension of the strings and the slack, and that's something that I really look for in a guitar. And I noticed that from right about here to like the fifth or sixth fret and all the way up, you just get a lot more play in the strings, and that's just physics, right? But maybe it's kind of why he writes a lot of songs in D and even in G and E, because that's a really comfortable place for him to do vibrato, but also his voice. But maybe I'm just speculating. But hope that helps. I know it's a lot of nerding out, but take this type of technique, use it for yourself. Maybe analyze John's playing technique yourself. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the little like button, the little bell icon. And if there's anything else you want to see from me in the future in terms of these type of tutorials and lessons, mainly John Mayer type of stuff, leave a comment below. Like I said, I've analyzed his playing over the years and want to give that knowledge that to you. So just let me know if you're interested in that, and we will see you next time.